Hello and good evening to all of you. Good evening and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss the current affairs and gazette for today, that is 13th of January 2021. And before I begin, I must share people who are being in this conversation, people who are participating in the live chats. This is amazing. This is truly marvelous. The kind of discussion you people are into. This is amazing. When we talk of the issues that are here in India because of the water quality and quantity deterioration, the points that you have provided is truly marvelous. I am amazed, and I don't know how many of you have appeared for the main examination this time, but I think if you prepare 100 topics like this for yourself, you are destined to not only appear but fare very well in an examination like main examination. Amazing points. Good evening and welcome to Hima, Netra, Supriya, early birds today. Hi Sam, hi Amlan. We do have Bhabani. Good evening to you. Amazing points, Supriya, Amlan, Bhabani, Hima, Kriti, all of you, great. Pooja, good evening to you. Pooja, be a part. Will slowly and steadily learn to understand how notes have to be made. All these people who had joined, they were not into note making earlier, but now they have started. But it took them a while. Some of them are here for a couple of months, some for a month, some for 2 3 months. So spend a week and then Pooja Mishra, we will also learn how to make notes. I'll keep guiding on this. All right. Then we have uh, other people here. Asim, good evening. Hi, Vakram, good evening to you. Jyotish, good evening. And then beautiful points and beautiful examples put by each of you. Amazing, right? Asim, yes, good point put. You have a question. Why are we failing in this for so long? We will discuss this. Hi, Ashish. Hi, Spider-Man. Good evening, Vivek. Hi, Ravi. Surya, good evening to you. Vivek, not to worry. You have just joined, nothing to worry. But yes, you missed the conversation that you people, almost everybody became a part of. And people who are not a part of this conversation, you should at least look at the live chats, the kind of intensity that people are carrying now, rigor, right? And this calls for something really good from my end. Remember, I had said one thing. Before we begin, just allow me 30 seconds. I want to express myself because you people have done so well here, so well in this conversation. Very quickly, just a small piece from my end. खामखा मुस्कुराऊं, खामखा गुनगुनाऊं, खामखा चलता जाऊं रे, मैं खुश हूँ आज खामखा, मैं खुश हूँ आज खामखा, मैं खुश हूँ आज खामखा, हाँ यारों. I'll keep singing for you guys if you keep performing like this, right? I'm really elated. Any teacher would be happy to see the kind of things that you have written down. So let's begin this conversation immediately now. All right. So what do we have in the current affairs today? Today we have a series of beautiful articles for you. The three snapshots that we have for us today. The first one being the one on minority determination in India, right? Is it a federal, is it to be done by the central government or the state government? That is the debate, right? And then we have Article 29 and Article 30 talking about people being able to preserve their rights. So there are various judgments from courts, and there is confusion over what has to be implemented, right? Courts have provided various differentiating arguments. So we will quickly understand what is this contention in the court and why has Supreme Court asked to look at or respond to this PIL, right? The first snapshot. The second snapshot is on PM-KUSUM scheme, right? An important scheme for Kisan Maha Utthan in the agricultural sector and solarization of the pumps. We will understand the scheme, right? And what are the updates from here, specifically Rajasthan. All right, this is also related to the green grid. And the third one is an update from Delhi and how Delhi plans to reuse water supplies, right? So we have the feature news as well on water management, right? A report presented by the Comptroller and Attorney General of the country, and what they have said about groundwater utilization and regulation and management. We will discuss here. We will also understand which are the areas which are in water stress. Some more concepts related to water, right? For example, some technical words. For example, uh, dynamic groundwater resources, natural discharge. What are all these things? We will understand these terms in detail, and we will also understand what is the resolution of a problem like this. And you will be able to relate this feature with these two snapshots, PM-KUSUM scheme and PM and Delhi plan to reuse water, right? You will be able to relate. This question was also a very similar question was asked in the UPSC main exam this time. And mind you, the kind of answers that you have given, this is what is required in the exam as well. That is why this song for you guys, dedicated to all of you, and also dedicated to one of you. It was Jugnu. Yes, Jugnu, who had mentioned a particular scheme yesterday, right? A specific scheme that was related to land and land reforms, right? The scheme's name, anybody, if you remember? So you start remembering these things and you will start seeing wonderful things from Edukemy's end as well. This day in history dedicated to Rakesh Sharma, the first person from India to go to space and the only person to have gone to space from India, right? We will also understand what is the difference between an astronaut and cosmonaut. Image of the day. Today we have dedicated this to water on moon. Water explored for the first time on the surface of moon. Terms and concepts for today are one easing of the curbs on Chinese investment in India. Why so? We'll understand Adi Shankaracharya. We'll understand why news improved passport power for the Indian passports, all of us Indian people. And the fourth one, an update on Red Sanders, again fallen into critically endangered category. The three editorials that we have for today are one, what regulations are effective and what are not effective, right? We will have to understand this. The second one is on the research and development sector in India, and the third one is demographic dividend. Today's case study is on uh, the water metro that have been initiated in for the first time in India, that is in the city of Kochi, right? So let's start this conversation. All right, anybody else here joining? Let me see. uh, Thank you everybody. Hi Sagarika. uh, Thank you very much, Babani, Ashish, Amlan, all of you. Surya, Supriya, Jyotish, we won't let you down. I will keep checking on that, Jyotish. Very good. All right. मुन्नी बदनाम हुई भी करेंगे कभी, ठीक है? Babani, all right. Manvendra, good evening to you. Hi, Anonymous. Swamitva scheme, everybody, amazing. Khushbu, very good. All right. Great. अब ये word आपको याद रहे ना, you will fetch extra half marks in your examination. We have covered this, just that it's in your mind, it's in your notes or not, that is the question. All right. So first snapshot for today is on statewide minority determination. See, if you look at the constitution, we'll start with the constitution, article 29 and article 30. Article 29 gives the right to every Indian to be able to preserve their language, their culture, and their script. Is it true? Am I correct? Right? Language, culture, and script. Uh, right. On the other hand, Article 30 gives a provision in the Constitution that all the minorities will have the right to administer their educational institutions by themselves. Who are the minorities? Right? Tell me the minorities. Anyhow, so basing our arguments on these grounds of the constitution, right, the question has been put down in front of Supreme Court. What is the question now? Suppose if this is the country India, right, and there are various religious and various linguistic minorities existent, right? So this is what has been mentioned in article 30, religious and linguistic minorities. Now India as a country has got certain minority communities, right? For example, Muslim community is a minority, Christian community is a minority, we have Parsi community as minority, right? But if you consider this as state-wise minority, it is not necessary that these communities might be minority in a particular state. There are places where the person from Hindu community also might be minority, right? For example, a place like Ladakh, hardly 1% population. In a state like Mizoram in northeast, population of Hindus is less. Then there are various other places, for example, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, right? Various other places in northeast or Punjab. is a good example, but around 40% population is Hindus. So the claim here is that the petition raised in Supreme Court is that should we determine the minority in a national manner or a state manner? Why? Because if one has declared the minorities as these five five different groups, right? For example, the religious minorities declared by the National Commission for Minorities Act, they are Muslim, Sikh, Buddhist, Parsi, and Christians. Right, and these people are entitled to protection under Article 30. These minorities will be able to administer their institutions, educational institutions. The point is, when they are minorities in the nation, they can do it. But what about minorities in a particular state? If Hindu is a minority in a particular state, will they get those rights or not? There are various government schemes which empower the minorities in many ways, right? So this is what is the petition, a constitutional question. This is not a question of politicization, but a constitutional question as well. But the court have had different interpretations at different times, right? So if you look at the kind of interpretation they have had earlier, see, the Kerala Education Bill, it says the question of ascertaining the status of minority community first arose in the Supreme Court, all right? And the court stated that the minority simply means that the community which is numerically less than 50%, all right? Numbers are less than 50%. Fine, we will agree with it, right? Then the Supreme Court rejected the contention since the Hindu are in majority in the country and they cannot be held as minority in the state. All right. Okay, this is one thing. So they cannot be held as minority in one state. One of the judgments. Another judgment said that the court held both linguistic and religious minorities have provided equal status under Article 30. So one cannot claim for only religious minority status. They could also claim for linguistic minority, or one cannot only claim for linguistic minority status. Both of them have got equal stance. And later the Supreme Court states that linguistic and religious minorities are different from each other, right? The court clarified that only linguistic minorities should be declared state-wise and not religious minorities to preserve the integrity of the nation. See, you see a confusion here. There are points when they are giving equal status to both of them. Then whether these rights should be provided at state level also or not, another question. So Supreme Court has asked the central government, please present your point, right? And they have asked them to tell what is their stand on an issue like this, and then they will be able to take a stand on this. So when we are declaring these minorities, those people who are minority in particular states, they also should get those rights, right? So this is the question. For example, Hindus in particular 8 states, right? So this is a question of polity, a constitutional question. All right. So the understanding here is right now is that this is a highly ambiguous and a contentious issue, and this needs to be dealt with by the Supreme Court, right? Both a clear procedure should be introduced to determine the status of minorities both at state and national level. All right. So this is the clarification here. We will wait for the judgment. All right, and we'll also wait for center's stand on this. All right. Great. Religious and linguistic, all of you. Right. Good evening, Rachit. Good evening to you. All right. Now, second update is on PM-KUSUM scheme. KUSUM stands for, now keep noting all this, right? KUSUM stands for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Mahabhiyan, right? So Mahabhiyan, Abhiyan is like scheme, Mahabhiyan is like mega scheme, Utthan to raise them. Kisan agriculture, urja, energy, suraksha, kisan, agriculture, energy security, and their empowerment Mahabhiyan. So this is how they want to empower the farmers. Now this is a very good scheme for everybody, for individual, for the power sector, for the government, for India's international presence, all of them. See how. See presently, and this is also good for nature. We will see how. See, what happens is that presently we are extracting a very very decent proportion of water from our earth, right? From below the earth, groundwater resources. The surface water resources are being utilized, but around 80% of the resources that we utilize, water resources, they are from the ground, extracted from ground, majorly for agriculture purposes, also for urban, rural, other activities, also a decent proportion. Point I'm making is that while we extract this water, we deplete the groundwater resources, right? And the replenishment is also not as complete at many places. So nature, the level of groundwater reserves, they dip. All right, great working, great. All right, thank you for waiting for this long. Thank you all of you for waiting for this long. I really admire this capacity in you. Let's begin this conversation. All right. Okay. So, thank you very much. Really admire your patience through this. Okay. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Hima, Bibani, Kriti, Pooja, Ashish, Amlan, Sagarika, Pritika, Spider-Man. Great. Thank you. So let's continue this conversation. Now, in this particular scheme, KUSUM scheme, why this is important the for the farmers is because they have been consuming diesel for this long, and diesel had been subsidized earlier. Government was under the force to subsidize it for the farmers. Now they won't have to subsidize it for farmers now, right? So government has this benefit. Farmers will be able to utilize solar energy for which has been put on the top of their agricultural fields, or or rooftop of their homes. So this is advantageous to the farmers as well, because they will be able to utilize this energy, and they will be able to resell some of it back to the power distribution companies, right? So many of them will be in advantageous position, in fact everybody, right? This will also help in integrating the global green grid. Green energy supplies also will able to help India in its resolution for 40% of clean energy. So this is how it is going to help. What is the update from here? The update is from Rajasthan, that the public sector banks have now said that they will give farmers collateral free loans, so that they're able to establish this kind of power source for their utility, right? Utility for two purposes: first, irrigation, and second, selling it back to the power generation or power distribution companies, right? So a great scheme. People will be benefiting from this. Now there are three components of the scheme. Three components. I had discussed this in one of the I think that was a part of the government schemes initiative for the pre-exam. So there are three components of the scheme. The first component is uh, establishing the decentralized solar or renewable energy plants on agricultural land, right? So first is these plants itself. The second one is having solar pumps installed, solar pumps for off the grid areas, solar pumps only. And the third one is uh, having grid connected irrigation pumps. See, what happens is that there is a pump, submersible pump or a pump, and then there is a power unit. Pump is a different thing and power unit is a different thing. Now in one of them, we are trying to give renewable energy in totality to a farmer, a complete setup. This is one, the first one. The second one is that we are having the solar pumps installed. Solar pumps, these pumps, you see, these solar pumps will be installed. And the third one is to have solarization of the present irrigation pumps. So right now, if the pumps are being used, no, hanky panky with this, jaisa hai वैसा रहने देंगे, we will be putting these solar pumps here, right? Solar power here, installing it or solarizing these pumps. The third one is the most efficient. The third one is the most efficient, less power consuming, less it is economizing also to the government. They are implementing all of them, but the third one is more competitive as compared to the first and second one, right? So this is what I wanted to explain. Notwithstanding that, now Rajasthan has been the first state which completed the mission of carrying out understanding where are the places where these pumps can be installed, right, or where we can give the renewable energy power plants to the whole state. And not only that, they have also exceeded the demand that was there, right? So center had fixed certain demand from every state, itna install karna hi padega. They have said isse zyada install kar lenge hum log, right? Why specifically Rajasthan? See, cloud cover is less, so cloud cover is less. The second one is the presence of land and sun, good sun. And then the third one is it can be installed in those places which are non-fertile. Many of these places, Rajasthan is the first place in the country where we have started to integrate the grids, right? So that is why it was in news, exam mein aaya hai, right? So this is why in news, right? And the three components explained here, whatever I have shared, I have also shared the more efficiency and economizing factor here, right? So these are the three components. Moving ahead to snapshot 3. All right. All right, moving ahead to the third one, Delhi's plan to reuse water. Now, Delhi had earlier placed a limit of 60 gallon per person per day. This is the limit of usage. And how much is 1 gallon? It is 3.8 liters, around 3.8, 3.78 liters, right? And now it has said we will further cut down the demand, ideal demand, from 1% to 50 gallons per person, right? This comes to around 180 liters, right? An ideal bucket is around 20-25 liters, right? So this is an average, right? वैसे तो आप देखें तो average is like 40 liters per day for bathing and portable purposes, bathing, portable, and basic purposes. But this is what Delhi had proposed. Now Delhi says this is per person at an average, right? So now Delhi says that we will reduce it down through certain planning measures. So now they say is that if the utility is not for the fresh water, specifically for example, bathing purposes, drinking purposes, household purposes, these are the purposes for which we require fresh water, right? Unrecycled water. So they will provide the unrecycled water here, and they will provide recycled water for other purposes. For example, if we have to water the plants, if we have to use water for purposes other than the home purposes, right? For example, toilet purposes, so brown water can be used here, right? So this is where the Delhi government says that we will try to utilize the recycled water here, right? We have covered some of these cities which have recycled 100% of their water. Indore, right, first city to have done this, water plus city. So good cases there, right, which Delhi can actually follow. This will reduce the water stress in the city. One very good component that we had covered in the Delhi master plan, draft master plan for 2041, is the green-blue corridor. Green-blue corridor. So wherever there are these water, sewages or sewers, or we have nalas, right, where which are leading to the Yamuna River and mixing in the big Yamuna River, we can plant trees there, right? So these are green blue corridors. They will essentially help in groundwater recharge. They will help in restoration of the complete ecosystem, right? Because of these sewers, the water quality has gone very, very bad. But these greenery, this helps in restoration of soil quality. This helps in restoration of the fine balance between the dirt and the cleaner sources of uh, uh, nature services, right? So this is what is the update about, right? Optimizing rewater solutions, right? So what are the major challenges? Local resources are few, participation of people is very less. If the government is only attempting all this is not efficient, right? The groundwater resources are already getting depleted. We will study them, right, in the feature news today, how a place like Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, these are the places which are most exploited as far as groundwater resources are concerned, right? And there is increasing population, burgeoning population in Delhi NCR region, supposed to be the largest agglomerate by 2027, overtaking Tokyo. So a water treatment plant है नहीं यहाँ पर, है ना? During the times of winter we see frothing in Yamuna. Why? Right? Because there are many industries, there is no check off, there is no audit of the kind of effluent that flows through it. So we do not have the proper dumping ground for the liquid waste, the solid waste, any of them, right? There are times when we inject the waste. This is considered sin. We inject the waste below the ground surface at times, and the whole groundwater gets polluted, right? Just because we cannot dispose it in a proper manner, or it is going to be costly for corporates, for the industrial bodies, they inject it with the pump. So these are the kind of problems that a state like Delhi is currently facing. Amidst that, the government said that we will try to reduce the water demand in the city, right? A beautiful initiative. All right. All right. So this is what is the update here. Agricultural water demand will be more efficient now on, because अगर paddy cultivation कर रहे हैं तो we'll use those kind of crops which will use less water. Extraction of groundwater will decrease. So in a place like Delhi, one cannot bore a pump anywhere that they want, right? They will also initiate rejuvenation of the water or river bodies, right? नाला वहाँ पर plantation करेंगे. Water sensitive planning will be there, right? Reusing of water, and then also storm water drainages. These kind of drainages, right, when there are floods, why cannot they be utilized to recharge the groundwater? So these are the kind of planning, integrated planning if done. 70-80 centimeter of rainfall in Delhi is not very less, right, compared to other places. If it is how much is the rainfall in Delhi per year? You should know, right? So if it is 70, 80, 100 centimeter rainfall per year, it's not a problem. It's just that we have to create water harvesting, water recharge facilities in the city. This is what is the planning that is happening right now. All right. So this is the update from Delhi. Okay. All right. Lavanya Kanan says desert. Okay. Rakesh Sharma. Today we have dedicated this day in history to Rakesh Sharma because he was born on this day. He's the only Indian to have gone on a space mission, gone and have had a flight to space. Noteworthy to mention is what is in news. That is that four um, Indian Air Force officers, they are being trained in Russia to be able to fly the first crewed mission by India, Gaganyaan, in the year 2023, right? So you can relate this news to this day in history. Four of them to fly Gaganyaan in 2023. Rakesh Sharma, he was there in space for around 8 days, and along with a couple of other cosmonauts. The difference between cosmonaut and astronaut is that the Russian space agency is called as Roscosmos, right? Roscosmos. So Roscosmos, when it certifies people to fly, above the conventional uh, flight limits, that means go to space. So that is what it calls the people who have been entitled as cosmonauts, Roscosmos cosmonauts. And when NASA or Japanese space agency, European space agency, they do it, they call them as astronauts. It's just the language that they use, nothing more than this, right? So India will be conducting its first manned flight mission in 2023, unmanned flight mission in 2022, this year itself. And they have already tried various missions. For example, the re-entry of the crew capsule, right? The re-entry of the rocket itself. If you have seen how the rocket re-enters and comes back to the surface, you should look at Elon Musk's rocket, how they re-enter, and they actually come and you know they very very in a stable manner they come and settle on the base. On the other hand, what India is right now doing is having these re-entry capsules which not only re-enter the atmosphere, the four you know people, cosmonauts, will be inside this. They will be they will get dropped in the Indian Ocean region, and they will be recovered from here. Not like what USA does it right now, and they will be recovered within a period of 2 hours. This is what is the claim of the government. All right. Okay. Feature news for today is on the groundwater management and regulation. Very interesting feature news on groundwater. We will understand some technical words. What is the utility of groundwater? How are we trying to utilize this resource properly? What is CAG talking about it? And what are the legislations? Are they trying to work around to develop these resources or not? Image of the day is on water on moon, first time detected, right, through the help of China's Chang'e lunar lander. They found out that water in very small particles did exist on moon. So this somehow makes us think that probably life can survive here on moon, but a lot of research still happening around it, right? So this image of the day. All right. All right, terms and concepts for today. Easing curbs on Chinese investment. See, India has been receiving very good proportion of Chinese investment in the last 4 5 years until it was paused or stopped. So India's investment, Chinese investment in India, it grew 12 times between 16 to 19, right? And then India had to look down, curtail these kind of investments. India had to monitor the Chinese investments in India. Not that China is suspiciously investing in India only. China has invested very proportional sum of money in USA. So has Japan, and Japanese have invested in European economy as well. They've invested in all the developed countries, so much so that they can actually destabilize these countries, right? How? See, when USA releases bonds in the market, Chinese purchase these bonds. Chinese say, we have the dollars that we gain from international trade with you. We have the dollars that we gain in international trade from you. Give us the bonds, we will give you the dollars, right? So this is how USA's bonds, many bonds are with China and Japan. So China also FDI investment, it initiated FDI investment in India, right? Not only as a competitor, but because it is a dominant economy, right? India curtailed all that, right? But you should know that many of the investments are genuine investments. They might not be Chinese origin, but they might be originating, the source might be initiating from China. Those, some of them are called as beneficial ownership, right? So when beneficial ownership, right, for example, the investor may be from neighboring country but holds a small stake in the firm proposing the investment. So for example, if the person is from Mongolia, right, and they are investing from a firm in China, so eventually it is not Chinese, na, it is Mongolian. If the beneficial ownership, right, is less than 10%, if effectively China is not holding that kind of investment more than 10%, then we can initiate those kind of investments in India. So this is what the government has said right now, and this is because some investment from Chinese have paused in India, $6 billion worth, and that is why government said, "ठीक है, थोड़ा let's cut down on this kind of issue, and let's have these kind of investment where the beneficial ownership is less than 10%." All right. So this is the issue here, and of course a great resolution. See, cumulative India has received around $500 billion of FDI from the countries like Mauritius, Singapore, Japan, USA, and Netherlands, right? And because majority of these investments are from these places, right? Cumulative around $500 billion. And Mauritius is one place, why? Tax haven. Singapore another place, financial transaction. Then USA, Japan, Netherlands, five major places from where investments have poured in the last 5 years, in the last 2 years. All right. So we are trying to streamline and make some exceptions in the investments in the country. A good step by the government. All right. The second update is from Adi Shankaracharya, right? So what is the update? We are going to install another statue here in Madhya Pradesh for Adi Shankaracharya, 2,500 crores rupees. That is why, as in news, it will be one of the largest statues of Adi Shankaracharya. Now, quick understanding about Adi Shankaracharya. He was the propounder of Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta. Now, this is a very popular term. Just like Buddhism comes in the pre-exam, Advaita can come because these are the most popular philosophies from India. Advait means Dvait, non-dualism. It means non-dualism or monism, right? So it says that the origin of universe or the source of universe is non-dual in nature. Sometimes people say it is because of soul and body, right? That means they say there are two different things which are constituent of the fundamental particle of nature. In Shankaracharya Advaita Vedanta, they say this is only one, and they call this as Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the one, right? And it is not only for God. Each of us as Brahma in that way. This is what is Shankaracharya's philosophy. And then later on, other philosophies also, significantly came. One of them. So after Shankaracharya came Ramanujacharya, and then Madhvacharya. They all spoke of dualism, qualified dualism, and then dualism, right? So this is how, and on this basis only, the whole philosophy of Hindu scriptures were also based. Each of them, they interpreted the Vedas, they interpreted the Vedantas, and they accordingly understood in different light the whole scriptures, the Vedas and Vedantas especially, and they had different interpretations. That is why these philosophies came up, right? So uh, this is how we understand Adi Shankaracharya. What is the political significance? All right, he was born in Maharashtra, born in Kerala, but then he, at a very young age, he went to Kashmir, and then he took Samadhi, and then he propounded his own philosophy. The political significance is that a place like Madhya Pradesh, which is having huge deficits, if it constructs another statue, then this will be criticized. That is the update here. Improved passport power in our country. What is the third one? The third term for today is improved passport power for India. What is it about? A very popular index called as Henley Passport Index. This has ranked India 7 places better than previously, and India is right now at 80th, 83rd position in this index. So this is talking about the power of the passports that we have. Each of us are entitled to passports, right? If we are Indian citizens. And what is this power? This is the power of one being able to travel to another place without being questioned. Without being questioned, for example, a free entry or visa free regime, or having an e-visa. So India earlier had places, India has visa free access to 60 destinations right now, visa free. Largely, when it is called as visa free, this is not exactly visa free, right? There are many places where e-visa is required. We do not have to. So largely there are three kind of visa services. One is the sticker visa. The second one is e-visa, and the third one is visa on arrival. I've explained this when Afghanistan issue was there. I'd like to explain quickly. So sticker visa is the one in which a person, if I am an Indian and I want to travel to USA, I have to apply for a visa. I have to go to the embassy, American embassy in India, and I go to the building and they take my interview. They find me to be a legitimate person. They put a sticker on my passport and send me back. And then when I go to America, I show this visa. This sticker is the visa inside my passport. Okay. So this is sticker visa policy, and this is under good scrutiny, right? Good scrutiny interview process. And the second one is e-visa. I pass on my details online 3-4 days before I have to travel, and when I reach that place, they conduct a minor scrutiny at the airport itself, the immigration authorities, and they let me in. This is e-visa. And the third one is visa on arrival, visa on arrival status. Here we do not even have to inform through electronic means. Now in electronic means, when the informal information is given, it all means to say is that the government of that, that particular place, it can run a check on its database if I'm a blacklisted person in the Interpol list or the country's list or not, if I've committed a crime in that country, or if I am a most wanted don or not, right? On the other hand, visa on arrival, there is nothing doing. You just take your passport, land there, and then say, I have come from this country. That's it. So this is the most free regime. India has offered visa on arrival only to two countries. We have Japan and South Korea. Not even USA, not other countries. For many other countries, around 150 countries, India has provided e-visa facilities. And for around 30-40 countries, we have provided the regime of sticker visa. So why this difference? The difference is so because Japan and South Korea, friendly nations, and very less number of crimes committed by citizens of these places. It has been researched. There are many other factors. So this is the reason that Japanese passport holds great significance all around the world. Japanese and Singaporean passport. On the other hand, India gives e-visa to 150 countries. Why? Because it promotes tourism. It promotes people to apply for visa without, getting into the hassles of going to embassy. The load on embassy gets reduced. We have electronic features, and this increases the tourism. No, medical tourism, conference tourism, the general tourism, right, in the country. And sticker visa, India has imposed only to those countries which are problematic in nature. For example, a country like Sudan, a country like Somalia, a country like Kenya, a country like Rwanda, a country like Afghanistan. For them, they have imposed these kind of sticker visa so that the person goes through a wider scrutiny interview process before even taking the flight ticket. Right. So this is how India's passport index right now has improved because the stature of Indian passport has improved. Right. More security features in the country. That is why. Right? Japan, Singapore stand top. All right. All right, Sagarika. We'll see you later. All right. Red Sanders. Why in news? Red Sanders is in news because it has come back again into the endangered category, right? It was nearly threatened, and Red Sanders is what is it? It is a type of wood, right? Sandalwood, जो बोलते हैं ना, it's one of the types of sandalwood. It is found specifically in some areas, right, in the south in Andhra region. And if you remember, Virappan, do you remember? Virappan was killed by the Indian police agencies, and there's a very beautiful story around it. How and this is a very inspiring story of one of the senior police officers. All right, right for now is red sanders. So what is about this? This has fallen again into the endangered category because of the trade in this wood, right? So this is an endemic tree. Endemic means found only at a particular location and around Eastern Ghats in Andhra Pradesh, and specifically 3-4 districts in Andhra Pradesh, right? Nellore and Kadapa district, Chittoor, south of Andhra Pradesh, right? They are found there. And why specifically traded? They're traded because of their incense qualities, smell, incense, and then medicinal qualities, and then wood and furniture also, yes, but this comes very late because medicinal qualities are huge, cosmetic qualities are huge. the होश उड़ जाएंगे अगर पता चलेगा इसका रेट क्या है, right? It is like 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees per kilo, right? So for a ton it will cost you a crore. That is what it is. That is why in news it has been protected, but yes, not very much, right? Artificial cultivation not happening very much. It also takes a lot of time to grow, right? Okay. South Korea or Singapore? Ravi says, okay, Ravi, India has given the visa on arrival status to South Korea and Japan, but the top ones are Singapore and Japan. All right. India has given e-visa for Singapore. Pushpa movie. All right. Great, guys. You people have seen a movie. I have not yet to see. I think Vijay Deverakonda, no? All right. Um, what is the first editorial? See, there are times when I want you to go and read the editorial. पढ़ लो कभी कभी, you will find it very interesting. कितना पढ़ने के लिए बोलता हूँ, बाकी conversation we are having together, go click here and read. This editorial is largely about go to the website and click here and read. This is about regulations being effective. These days we see regulations being the solution for every problem, right? There is a problem of civil unrest, put regulations, cut the internet or cut the telephone connection. There is a problem of corona, put the regulations, there'll be lockdown, people won't move. There is a problem of Omicron, then restaurants, hotels, and then we have the film theaters, all of them getting closed, right? Local shops getting closed. अब ये यूरोपियन यूनियन में ऐसा हो रहा था in America that people would start protesting against this, that it should be on our liberty. But if it is happening in a country like India also, people are resisting and saying up, you're holding rallies, you're not allowing us, at least allow it 50%, or banquet halls, those places. So this is the question here being raised. What is the idea of effective regulation? There should be times when government should understand where what is the cost benefit of these kind of regulations, right? So एक बार पढ़ना, this is a good one. Establishing India's Apple. This is about establishing an industry of excellence in a country like India. Research and development. This article says, the editorial says, is of prime importance. And will we be able to install a factory like Apple in India? This value, the net worth being a $3 trillion market, will we be able to? There's the question. Because research and development, yaad karo, what is the percentage I had told? Percentage of GDP in India for research development in comparison to countries like Japan, countries like Germany, Israel, China, and USA. Do you remember this? I want you to put this down on the comments. What is the percentage of research and development? Only one rational point of research and development, and you can prove what is the point of this editorial, right? So this is what I want to say. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and management, right? If you see the number of graduates who go abroad to countries abroad, the percentage of people doing post graduation with STEM is 75. Indians going abroad and applying for STEM courses is 75% of all the people doing education masters abroad. This indicates that these courses Indians want prefer to do abroad and stay abroad. This is the point. So that means that we do not have adequate research institutions, or the facilities provided are not sufficient, right? We had studied that in IITs related to that article. IIT, maybe the new IITs, the infrastructure is not there, the teaching facility is less, the pressure on the existing faculty is more, the salaries are less, right? The kind of revenue generation in those facilities are less. Bus, this is what it is. Universities, see, unless and until we have universities which are creating those research engines, individuals, we will not have industry base, even if government is supporting. This is the point, right? So what do we need to do? Bahar se we get great faculty from outside to India. We have exchange programs. These are the ways in which we can begin this. Tabhi Apple India mein bhi aayega, right? Okay. The third one is reaping India's demographic dividend. We have covered demographic dividend in multiple ways, right? So one was second demographic dividend. Abhi, just 15 days back, second demographic dividend we covered. This is of the evergreen demographic dividend for the elder population. And the first demographic dividend is that of the youthful population. 65% of India's population less than 35 years age. 50% of India's population less than 25 years of age. Not only that, the mean uh, uh, this is not 25, this is 28. The median age is in India is 20, is less than 29. In China it is 38, and in Japan it is 47, right? So this is how the median age is. Iska matlab ye hua that 50% people in India are less than the age of 29, 50%. And then 50% in China are less than the age of 38, 50% in Japan less than the age of 47. Which country has got more human resources? India has got it. So this is why India is considered as the major power in the coming times. In the coming 20 years, 30 years, we will have enormous youthful power, which we need to reap on. The dividends must be harvested. Kaise hoga? Give them skills, give them education. Hmm. Give them proper health services. This is why government is forcing on capital assets building. You remember the question was, there was a question on capital and revenue expenditure. We build human capital through capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure में what is it? We give them only food, right? Revenue expenditure उसी साल खत्म हो जाएगा. But if we give them skills, we teach them fishing. We do not give them fish, we teach them fishing. See, this is what it is, right? So this is where the article also says that we must create national transfer accounts assessment, right? Investing more in children and adolescent, investing in health education, female workforce, right? So this is how we are going to create a demographic dividend for our country in the coming times. Okay. Now, moving ahead, uh, my friend who quit UPSC and had a PhD, not getting job due to high qualification. See, all right. Yes, absolutely correct. You guys are absolutely correct here. Okay, Allu Arjun. I'm sorry. Uh, Amlan says 0.67%. Absolutely, Amlan. Very good. 0.6% of the GDP spent for research and development in India. 0.67% only. And Netra, very good. 0.7%. Absolutely. But if you compare this to a country like USA, China is 2.2% of the GDP, three times us. A country like Japan, a country like Israel, a country like Germany, they are around 3%. South Korea as well. And this is the reason we see them as the countries which take the Nobel Prize away, which take the innovations away. The world's leading, uh, you know, high-end technology manufacturers are located here. So what that we manufacture tires. Tire is not a leading industry, right? It is one of the industries in the market, but yes, it is not the leading industry. We have to purchase the critical goods from there, and then we base our industry products on them, right? Now, very good that you are doing this. I'll keep singing for you then, right? In this case. All right. If you like this initiative, do share some love through likes, comments, and shares, right? We will, and these likes are really valuable to us because this is how we rate how many people watch the videos, what is the kind of efficiency we need to put in the videos. We will also target more resources in case, you people find this really productive. Today's discussion was extremely engaging. Moving ahead to this case study of today. Today's case study is on sustainable transport. We are talking of the water metro, first time instituted in India in the city of Kochi. See, India has got around 15. What is the total length of the Indian coastline? Is it 7,500 kilometers or is it 15,000 kilometers? So for the total coastline length, we have got, and not only for them, also for places which are inland and we have river transportation. Cannot we initiate water metro? Water ferries? Yes, this is a very, very efficient system for transportation of people, goods, vehicles from one place to another. And this is more nature friendly, this is more efficient, this is less in terms of the kind of capital the government has to invest. Rather than creating a bridge which is going to cost very much, we can also ferry people from one place to another, right? There are islands, there are places. For example, if you remember, we had discussed Mumbai. In Mumbai also we have initiated a thing like this water metro is cheaper for people. Actual cost is cheaper than road transport, rail transport, air transport, right? And this is energy saving as well, this is environment friendly as well, right? और क्या जानना है, इतना ही तो जानना है बस. You put this, this will also reduce pollution. Environment bola na? Yes. So this is how you make a case, this is how you make a case for your argument, and you put this in your answers as well, right? So this will also encourage high frequency travel in these kind of mode of commutation, right? Today's quote is, the test of democracy is not the magnificence of buildings or the speed of automobiles or the efficiency of air transport, but rather the care given to the welfare of all people. See, so not only in urban areas, even those places which are peri-urban or semi-rural, those places can also utilize these kind of services. On the other hand, when we have to build buildings or automobile roadways or air transport, they're largely urban driven, right? So welfare of the people is also a very important aspect, right? This is why uh, uh, look at the person who has written this, Helen Keller, right? Very, very beautiful phrase from a person like her. This is the case study of the day, and we come to the closure of the current affairs discussion. We will quickly move to the other discussion, that is on the groundwater resources in India and the CAG audit on the same. Right? There are questions, comments. Please put them down. There are questions to ask. Please put them down. I have noted 4 questions already. You people have asked. Yes, I remember. We have Amlan, Asim, and the other people who had asked this question. There are 4 questions with me. I will definitely discuss one of them, all of them one by one. For now, we'll meet in the next video, right? Thank you for being a part. Yes, 7,500 kilometers, all of you, absolutely. Amlan also tells the kind of cost the water transport costs. So it is 0.25 paise per kilometer water transport at an average. And if you compare this to rail transport, if you compare this to road transport, there are 6 to 10 times. There are 6 to 10 times. And this is why, very good Amlan, I appreciate your enthusiasm here. ये एक बार याद हो गया ना, जैसे just like you people have started to remember some data here, you will see the magic yourself, right? Do it for 100 items and then you see the magic. We will quickly meet you in the other video that is on the groundwater resources. All right. Thank you for being a part. We will see you then in a